right, thank you, gentlemen, for coming. We'll go ahead and get started again. Questions from in the room, please raise your hand. You'll be handed a microphone. Identify yourself and your affiliation before asking your question, and let us know which player you're asking the question of. Thank you. Go ahead, Nico.
Nico Tamuri and Como News here in Seattle. And this can be for both of you guys. Obviously, you're here. It's been a great season, but how do you make sure this continues? This is a season that folks out there remember for a long time to come. What's the mindset heading into all this?
I think just sticking to the basketball we play, just staying in our brand of basketball, and just keep playing together like we have been all season will be good.
Yeah, I mean, same thing. Just sticking to what we do, just playing really hard, playing as hard as we can. I feel like that'll help us win.
Question for both of you, but Juju, I know you've been here with this team. I know it's one thing to kind of see your name go up on the bracket and be celebrating that, but has there been anything in the last day or so since you've arrived in Seattle where, this experience feels very real and you're sort of grasping the magnitude of this tournament?
Yeah, kind of when you get to the hotel, you see all the March Madness stuff on there, kind of here, first press conference, all eyes on you. This only basketball really be played in the country where everybody's watching. So it's just a blessing, but we got to lock in and just focus on the game and the task at hand and get it done.
Questions?
From Como News again, just obviously it's such a whirlwind, right? You find out the opponent Sunday and you got to focus on what you're doing, but what do you know about the other guys and just this short time you've been able to break down film and all that sort of thing?
I mean, they're a really good team. They have a lot of really good players, and I feel like they're older, so they have a lot of experience, so we got to come ready and locked in.
Jacoby, when you came here, the starting lineup, the Crab Five, is kind of taken on a life of its own. I mean, is that sort of a vision you had for this group, that lineup in particular could be really good and maybe stand where you guys are standing now?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really know the lineup before I came. I knew Drew and Derik were coming here. I didn't know about Rodney and Selton, so no, I didn't really know that the Crab Five would become a thing.
Why do you think it's come together?
Just because we're all really good players, but also unselfish and like to see each other playing good and succeeding. So I feel like we all like to work together.
Any more questions from the house? If there's anyone on the Zoom that would like to ask a question, go ahead and raise your hand in the Zoom with the icon at the bottom of your screen. And one last call for questions from in the room here. Go ahead.
Jacoby, you have the opportunity to come back to Maryland next year. I mean, are you thinking, I know you're focused on this moment and this game tomorrow, but what do you think this tournament could mean for the trajectory of the program under Coach Willard and, the future of the expectations that you guys set here?
I mean, I don't really know what the future holds, but yeah, I mean, we're just really locked in on Friday and trying to win as many games as we can.
Anything else? All right. So we've got no more questions, so we'll let you guys go. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Back with Coach Willard here shortly. What's that? No, we don't start till April 1st. Yeah. Yeah, the 2nd of May. It's interesting that so many have gotten rid of their games. Yeah, our coach is quite the opposite. He's quite into the game. Yeah. Yeah, it's the notion of people taking players based on what they do in the spring game is sort of silly. They know what there's. a moment. Again, if there's anybody on the Zoom that's checking in for the Maryland head coach, he's headed in now. Once he gets settled, we'll get it started with an opening statement from him, take questions in person, and then any questions from the Zoom we'll get to then. So thank you, Coach. Have a seat, and when you're settled and ready, you can start us with an opening statement if you'd like. Sure.
Yeah, excited to be here. This is always one of the best times of the year. I'm really proud of the way my team has played this year, battling through some really tough losses, especially the 4 buzzer beaters this year, to bounce back and put us in a great position and to get a 4 seed. So obviously going to play a very, very good basketball team tomorrow, but looking forward to being here.
All right, with that, we'll take questions from anyone in the crowd. Please raise your hand, and we'll hand you a microphone.
Kyle Goon, Baltimore Banner. Kevin, you've had a chance to look at GCU a little more, and obviously they're a lot of experience. They were here last year, won a game. What do you kind of see out of them initially?
Yeah, I don't know how they got a 13 seed, to be honest with you. They've won 27 games. They won a game in the tournament. They have they have a 6-year senior. They're a veteran basketball team. From my standpoint, watching them on film, they're probably the most connected defensive team that we're going to play all year. Their guards are long. They remind me a little bit of USC in the fact that their guards are really long. They're active. They play extremely hard. The big kid protects the rim tremendously with how he walls up. He's always there. And then offensively, I mean, they got transfers from Oregon. I mean, from everywhere. So it's an experienced basketball team. It's a team that's really good and that we're going to have to play really good basketball against.
Again, if you have a question for Coach, please raise your hand. We'll hand you a microphone. Lindsay's there. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Hey, Coach. Lindsay Schnell from The Athletic. I'm curious, I was asking Penny about this earlier. How does coaching great players change you, push you? You have someone like Derik. How does he make you a better coach?
He gets buckets. It's actually the way I looked at it. People asked me if there was a lot of pressure at the beginning of the year having a guy like Derik, and I looked at it completely different. It's been so much fun to coach a guy like that. He's so good. He's so engaged. He's a great teammate. He makes going into the game a game plan where you have a guy like that you can do different things. And I think, obviously we're only going to have him for about 8 months, but I've had so much fun coaching him. And I think, from looking at it there's pressure to, how will I do with a McDonald's All-American, to a guy that was maybe draftable, not draftable, to now probably being a top 5 pick. I've had a lot of fun, and I think Derik's had a lot of fun.
Questions? We'll go ahead and start with
Hey, Coach. Obviously, last time you guys were out here, difficult West Coast road trip. What have you done differently preparation-wise to hopefully feel better results?
Yeah, I think the big thing is we came out a little bit earlier. Last time we practiced and we flew out late, and we got out here really late, and then spent the day before Washington adjusting to the time zone. We came out early and practiced out here this time to try to give our guys a little bit better chance of adjusting. And, kids sleep on planes. So when you fly out late, they sleep the whole time. Like, it's an amazing, I wish I could sleep for a minute the way they sleep. But so when we came out here the first time, I think we took off at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and they slept for 5 hours. So then when they got here, they didn't go to sleep. It's just normal. This time, they slept all morning on the plane, and then we got out here. I worked them pretty hard yesterday. We went out and had a really great dinner, but everybody was tired and went to bed. And I think just getting adjusted that way is a big difference.
Kevin, it is that time of year where,
Took you guys 3 questions.
I wanted to ask about the basketball too.
Okay.
But, obviously your name has come up as a candidate for various positions because Maryland has done so well this year. Have you felt compelled to address any of that with your team at all about your future at Maryland?
Yeah, I've addressed it with them directly. I'll say this. This is Damon and I talked on Sunday night right before Selection Sunday. He gave me a term sheet right before Selection Sunday. I really wasn't focused on it. Been focused on this team and this. Damon's talked to my agent. I talked to Damon this morning at length about where we are. Obviously, it's difficult right now because I think we know his situation. He's probably going to SMU, so it's kind of tough to negotiate with somebody that's maybe not here. But I need to make fundamental changes to the program. That's what I'm focused on right now. That's why probably a deal hasn't got done, because I want to see, I need to see fundamental changes done. I want this program to be great. I want it to be the best in the country. I want to win a national championship, but there's things that need to change. When you're at a place for 3 years and you put your heart and soul into it, you kind of sit there and say, okay, wait a second, for us to be really successful, X, Y, and Z needs to change. And first and foremost, I need to make sure that we are where we are with NIL, and rev share is not where we've been with NIL in the past 2 years. We've been one of the worst, if not lowest, in the NIL in the last 2 years. So that's first and foremost. I also have to make a fundamental change where I can do the things that I want to do with my program. I wanted to spend an extra night in New York this year to celebrate Christmas with my team, and I was told that we can't do that because it's too expensive. So I don't know how we can be a top-tier program and I can't spend one extra night in New York because it's too expensive. So there's fundamental things I'm fighting for my team and my program. It's not so much about me. I want to make sure that whatever we do going forward, we're successful, and we're successful at the highest rate. So I'm confident that we'll get things done. It's a little difficult right now, I'm not going to lie. But I'm confident that no matter who we're negotiating with at the end of the day, this program is going to be in a great spot. And that's really my focus, is this tournament, this team, and this program.
Raise your hand for a microphone if you had a question. Down in the front over here.
Kevin, talking about those fundamental changes, do you feel like Maryland's, the last few years been operating like a basketball school, or do you think it needs to, take the next step in that regard?
Well, no, absolutely. I mean, this is a phenomenal program with an unbelievable history. But like I said, it's simple. When you've been somewhere for 3 years, and I love it here, you're going to find things that need to be changed. And right now, I think I have to take the fact that I think I have an opportunity to make sure that I make fundamental changes to what I believe we need to do to be successful. It's not. Our fan base is unbelievable. Our donors are unbelievable. It's just sometimes you get in when you get into the nuts and bolts of a program, you sit there and say, okay, can we make these changes? And let's make these changes for the best.
Anyone else here in person with a question? Raise your hand. If there's anybody on the Zoom that would like to ask a question of Coach, raise your hand in the Zoom app using the icon at the bottom of the screen. Anybody else in the Zoom or in person, any questions? All right, not seeing any more. We'll go ahead and let you go.
Thank you very much.
Good luck to you.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.